Executive Director, Conference for Human Rights and Conflict Solution.
Okay, sir, we are here to talk about the CNG.
Okay.
What is your take? Is it really successful? Because it has been launched in Kogi State, and we spoke with some persons who said they've not even seen any of the bus in the state for quite some times now. So, what is your take about it?
Yeah, thank you. I think we need to first look at the objective of CNG to know whether CNG itself, do we really need it? What's supposed to be the rationale behind CNG? And in my personal opinion, before coming down to the state level, how does the idea of CNG come up in itself? Is the fact that after the subsidy removal, if you remember that before the subsidy removal, before the advent of this particular government, the issue of CNG didn't come up. But after the removal of subsidy, the inflation that we have, the cost of transportation, and of course, the petrol increment that the deregulation itself attracted, make it very difficult for citizens to have their purchasing power. So the federal government came up with a CNG idea to be able to support citizens in terms of transportation and to see if possible to reduce the cost of inflation, particularly on food and services and transportation in Nigeria. So when you look at all this, the idea behind CNG, in my opinion, is a good one. However, I think part of the problem I have envisaged before we zero it to the state like Kogi is the fact that at the beginning, at the conceptualization of CNG, how has the tripartite been brought together? What I mean by tripartite is that the federal government, the private sector, and the subnationals, which is the state government, because you cannot take away the state government from local government, so we put them together as subnationals in the transport sector. CNG is just addressing transportation alone and not any other part of the economy. And when you look at transportation, it's the heartbeat of issues of inflation in Nigeria. Now moving forward, if you come to Kogi State, if the federal government that initiated the CNG have brought in the governors forum to have an idea and to have an input, I think they themselves will have known that they have a role and responsibility into it. It's not about whether a federal government is giving 100 buses or 10 buses to each state. Are the state government themselves, are they investing in the CNG? Do they really embrace the CNG? Or it's like a manna coming from the heaven that they think we have no choice than to collect it? So I think that is where the lacuna had comes up, that I have not seen the state government that have claimed to have invested much in the CNG idea, except probably in some part of the western part of the country. I won't mention it, but I think there are one or two states in the west that I think have invested in CNG. But in Kogi State, to be specific, the Kogi State government, in the last 1 year, I have not witnessed any activities in respect of CNG initiated by the Kogi State government. A lot of people have not seen the buses. They don't even know where the center is.
Hold on, sir.
So,
Hold on, sir.
Government, the state government generally in Nigeria seems not to have invested in the CNG. And in Kogi State in particular, Kogi State government, I have not witnessed what they are doing or what they have done specifically on CNG. All we have heard is about the impact or the input of federal government on CNG. And if you are doing this kind of a thing and the state government and the national does not really invest in it, it cannot be enough. How many buses, how many centers do we need to create? Kogi State have 239 wards. Can we now be able to, can the federal government create CNG centers in 239 wards? We have 3 senatorial districts. Can the federal government create this? So even federal government have created CNG centers in each of the senatorial districts. We have a very large senatorial district that have up to as much as 9 local governments. So how can somebody be coming to that place? The proximity of Kogi State will have made the Kogi State government to partner with the federal government to create CNG centers and to invest in vehicles. And that can even help. They need to build partnership. If you have a state like Kogi that have boundary with 9 other states, including federal government, that will have been a state where federal government need to partner with the state. The state need to put in money. If you look at the budgetary provision in 2024, if you look at the budgetary provision in 2025, that is something like CNG. And we have complained, we have made requests we have made a demand that transport sector in Kogi State have not been given adequate attention. Are you talking of air transport? Are you talking of water transport? Are you talking of land transport? And it is from the land transport that the CNG can come in. And I think it's very important that CNG, by principle, by idea, is a positive one, is a good one. It will play a complementary role where I now have options. That is the good aspect of it. You will now have an option to either to convert your vehicle commercially or privately to CNG or to continue with the petrol. So I think the challenge I think is facing is to reorganize it, is to amend it, is to bring the state government to encourage the government to invest themselves in CNG rather than waiting for the federal government to come and identify CNG centers and bring in CNG buses. You can see that even some unions are having problems with the one that federal government has given to them. We just read of recent that even NAMS themselves have been given CNG buses and is creating conflict with them. There are no more enlightenment because it was done in a hurry to serve as an alternative to petrol.
Okay, sir. The CNG, do you really think it can serve as an alternative to fuel in the first place?
It can serve. The way that's what I'm saying, that it's about the fact that it was done in a hurry because of the pressure on the federal government after the win of subsidy. If the state government have invested, if the federal government have partnered with the state, while the federal government is creating its own center, buying buses in the state, and the state government is also investing in it, it will make the citizens to be able to know that this CNG is an alternative. And you have an option. There is nothing wrong because in state like Edo, where a state like Ogun State, we have seen buses that was created on CNG. And we have read from the media that it's an alternative. Instead of you going to Kaba from Kogi State with about 5,000 now, if you are going to have a CNG buses coming to Lokoja, it will create just about 3,000 or even 2,000. So the citizen will have been able to do what you're looking at in terms of commercial wise. For those of us who drive private car, for you to travel to Kaba, you need about 25 to 30 liters. And that, if you look at it, you are talking about 30,000 naira to travel with your car to Kaba from Lokoja here. So if you are looking at CNG, it won't have cost more than 5,000 naira. So it's a good alternative, but we need enlightenment, we need more investment, we need to train technicians that can do that and establish more centers. So it's a great alternative that need to be imbibed.
Okay, but the publicity is so poor that even the citizens are saying they are not aware. So what do you think they are going to do?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's because the state is not involved.
Okay.
The state government is just waiting across the federation for federal government to come and dash them. Say we are giving you 50 buses. It shouldn't be like that. It's about your citizen. How many buses can federal government provide? Where you have 774 local government, will government be able to provide 10 buses in each local government that can serve? But if, for instance, we have 21 local government and the federal government is providing 21 buses for Kogi State, can the state government on their own also provide 21 buses? That will now make it 42. Then there will be enlightenment. Even if you go to radio, television to do enlightenment, where are the facilities? Where are the centers? Do I need to go to Kene before I want to convert? Why can't I have like 2-3 centers in Lokoja, which is the state headquarters? And the neighboring state can also do the same thing. Why can't we have centers, at least 2 centers in each senatorial district? The eastern part of Kogi State have 9 local government. Now, if you create 1 center in places like Ida, how can somebody from Abejikolo will come there? How can somebody from Mankwa will come there? So this is the issue that is there. So it's not even about if naturally this activity has been going on, it will generate natural publicity. But you don't have centers. What are you publishing for? Are you going to ask people to go to where? The media will have taken more interest to know how is it functioning, how is it performing, and what has been the impact of citizens. So today, even me that is here, I have not seen any CNG buses in Kogi State. I didn't know any center that is functioning and is effective in Lokoja town here. So the private sector, the transport union, how far have they been carried out both at state and at federal level? So the issue of enlightenment will not come up unless the activity itself is there. There are a lot of activity that generate natural publicity, that will give out information, that will make the citizen to find out what is happening. If on the street here you can see about 5 buses in Lokoja, people now say, what kind of bus is this? Where are they doing it? What is the advantage and what is the disadvantage? The students are going to work to school. The market women are going to market, and everybody is there to say, we will struggle to go into to use CNG because it's cheaper. Maybe other keke napep that is charging as much as 500 for some distance in Lokoja, and CNG is charging as little as 100 naira. Then people will now option and they will now find out And like you will have gone there to find that, because I know when Keke Napep was flooded into the state, people now ask question, the difference between Keke Napep and Okada. Some people now say, okay, look, I prefer Keke because to them it's safer. And you can even pick a drop of Keke or carry your load. So it's before that, there are no CNG buses in the town. There are no CNG centers in the town and in the state. I don't know whether we have up to 2 or 3 in the entire 21 local government and the 3 central districts. So the issue of enlightenment shouldn't come up for now. It's issue of creating centers, it's issue of converting buses, and let the state government take the lead in partnership with the federal government.
Okay, so talking about safety now, how safe is this CNG vehicles?
From what I have read and what I have also watched, I think it has its own risk. In every airport, it's a technical issue, it's a technology issue, it will have its own risk. I think that is where the enlightenment will have to start. If we have created centers, we'll have been able to enlighten citizens about the risks associated with it and what we need to do. If you look at issue of gas in the country today, there are more people using gas than kerosene, while other persons is also using charcoal. Some people look at charcoal from the issue of economy, while some people also look at it from the issue of risk and safety. So the point is the fact that it must have its own side effect. There is no positive that will not have negativity. But I think most people are looking at it from the economic aspect of it and not looking at it from the risk associated with it. Even me, a lot of persons don't even still use gas today because they think it's risky. And I think that is where the issue is. But the more we are enlightened, you can see what happened just in places like Rivers about 4 or 5 days ago, where up to 18 persons were affected. And we can now read online why people are now telling you now this is what and what you are supposed to do. These are the number of days you are supposed to check your gas to be able to know whether it has expired or not. And I think to me this is what is associated. It's because you have gas. That's where you need to take precaution. If you don't have gas in your house, you will not take precaution. And that is the thing. I know a lot of us who even use car don't have fire extinguisher because there is no enlightenment on it. People don't think, we run to God for everything rather than take the measure. So there must be risks associated with it. But it is when we create that centers, as your car is going to be converted to CNG, or you are buying a CNG car, you take the safety precaution from that moment. And you are going to be enlightened as a person. Even me, I always ask the question about that. If I convert my car to CNG, like in some gas, how will I be able to know? Because part of the challenge with gas is that you don't even know when the gas will get finished. You are cooking soup in your kitchen. Before you know it, the gas just got finished. And you will not have access. So you need something to like a substitute. So those are some of those risks that we need to know. But without having the CNG, there is no point talking of enlightenment on the risk aspect. But definitely there will be risk that is associated.
Okay, the 2025 budget in Kogi State, sir, did not capture much on transportation. What do you think?
To me, it's a bit lacuna. And it's to tell us those who work on Kogi State budget have not really looked at the proximity of Kogi State. If you look at land transport, for instance, by our own statistics, not less than 10,000 vehicles cross Kogi State every blessed day. Now we have the water transportation here. We suffer flood every day. And you can see the proximity of certain part of the state. In 2012, 9 local governments were ravaged by flood. Yet, we don't have airport. Yours truly and every other person, including you, have to travel to Lagos. Even to Enugu by air, you have to first of all spend about 2.5 hours going to Lagos to take air. And so if you now have stakeholder meeting, and that's why we are able to let the relevant ministry know, you are not supposed to sit down at the comfort of your office and decide for the citizen. So transportation is something that should have been as important. If you look at the objective for 2025 in Kogi State, as presented by the governor, it look at the issue of agriculture. It look at the issue of health and education as a priority area. Transport was not a priority area. Transportation creates employment. Transportation provides service. Transportation brings in money. It generates revenue. So we should have made transportation an important thing in Kogi State because of the proximity of Kogi State. And to me, it's an unfortunate thing. I'm using this opportunity, which I've also said at various levels, that a supplementary budget should be provided for specifically to look at issue of transportation. It's just like when you look at the issue of housing. Housing will provide money for the citizen. It is a business. And we should look at some of these things from a business point of view, from private partnership. When you talk about in Kogi State, we are in the hand of private sector. It's Okada, it's Keke Napep. How many boats does Kogi State have to look at the transportation in the water area? How many vehicles in the land transportation to complement the road? And I think, to me, if you have looked at some of this sector, looking at the proximity of Kogi State, from revenue generation aspect, you will have been able to invest more and make it a priority. I think, to me, that is very unfortunate. We need to sit down to look at the transport sector. We are not giving priority. We are not giving enough attention to transportation in Kogi State. And to me, that is very unfortunate.
Okay, let's debate a bit. The state government will clock 1 year in few weeks to come.
The state governor.
The state governor. So the last
because
one.
The governor has been the government has been there for years.
The last 1 year, the last within this 1 year, has the state really achieved?
Yes. When you by 27th of January, the current governors of the state will be 1 year, and there are different parameters of assessment. For some of us who are citizens of Kogi State, who have also resided in the state for the past 19 years, and having been here for the past in the last administration, number one, we have to look at the peaceful coexistence of Kogi State. The first 1 year of the last administration, genuinely, and the first 1 year of the current one, Kogi State has witnessed some relative peace, and issue of tension has not been there. Because why? Kogi State is a civil servant state, and so when you pay people's salary, certain segment of the society benefit. So salary has been paid as at when I'm not a beneficiary of the state because I don't earn a living through the state government. So if you take that aspect very well, I think, to me, it is something that is commendable. That a government that believes that when people serve you, at the end of the month, for whatever reason, they must be paid, and you are paying them as at when due. That is commendable to us. If you look at the issue of infrastructure in the state, we have seen continuity to some extent of the infrastructural development of the state in the positive aspect of the state. But by and large, if I'm to look at the issue that have not been properly captured in the state, number one is the issue of the media sector. The Kogi State government in the last several years have not looked at media as an important segment of society. 32 years down the line, Kogi State have no television of its own. In the last 1 year, how much has Kogi State government invested in the media? We have the state-owned media, we have the private sector media in the state. What has been the contribution of the media by the Kogi State government? And if you don't invest in the media, how do you now promote your own activities? Why should you go to other medium outside the state and you are not investing in it? Again, the level of consultation from the media, interaction and engagement between the citizen and the government is too low. The citizen does not have opportunity to interact with their leaders. What is wrong in government coming on air and we have a polling program? All the engagement that we've been having, we've not been seeing our governor to speak to us directly and to us to also speak to him directly. And I think, to me, these are some of the areas. If you look at the issue of security, I think it's like a 50-50 thing. We have invested so much in security. If you look at the budget 2024, of course, it wasn't his budget. So much money has been claimed to have been expended, because when you are assessing budget, you look at the previous budget, how much was expended on certain infrastructure, what is the reality on ground, how much has been expended or claimed to have been expended on security, and then what is really the situation. Now in 2025 budget, over 100 billion have been budgeted and have been approved because the government have assented to the budget. I think around 30th of December 2024. Moving on. So we are just starting the year. So I think these are some of the parameters that is there. But in a peaceful coexistence, in a peaceful atmosphere, in a less tension state like we have been enjoying the last 1 year, I think people can now sit down to think. But I think our investment level, is still very low. What is our debt profile? How are we servicing our debt? What are the opportunities that we have? We have a cement factory here. How many housing? The government came in less than 6 months to create a ministry of housing. What is the strategy that we put in place? What is the policy on housing? None. We have seen so far. That is what we are also talking of. Even the education sector itself. It's not by investing in the higher institution. What is the quality of teachers? How much have we invested in the primary education in the state? So it's a lot of things that if the governor himself, I hope he will use this opportunity to do that. Even up to now, the budget 2025 have not been break down. Media have not been invited to look at this is what have been approved for us. They might say it's not too late, but if you are talking of 2 weeks after budget have been assented to, the media ought to have come up by relevant ministry. We also hope that as we go into the 1-year administration, each ministry will cultivate the habit of doing media engagement, vis-a-vis citizens engagement on how far, so far, and where they intend to go. I think there are not enough information to the citizen. There are not enough engagement to the citizen. In a research work, you will not tell anybody that it's not doing anything. You may not know what they are doing, but they must have done something. But are they really doing enough in critical areas, in carrying the citizens along? Even the infrastructure development, we need to utilize. Now today, we have 2 gigantic cement factories. How are we engaging them? How are they making input in our infrastructure development? I think for me, the government need to do more. 1 year may be a bit little to be able to assess the government, but the government need to tighten his belt to be able to see. Because by this time next year, God willing, by this time next year, we shall be talking of medium time. And when you are talking of medium time, you are already looking at the next election. So the government have a lot to do this 2025 to be able to convince the citizen that it is the kind of government that we need. But I think we are living in peace to some extent as a sort of government policies in the state. But they need to improve more on security and carry citizens along in what they are doing. It is not because you find yourself as a councillor, you find yourself as say you know better than those who are out there. It's about creating a platform, a forum where citizens can engage you. And it's happening in other states. We are seeing it. We are seeing live television stations in several other states where commissioner comes in with the government, with the governor to see though it's not happening in the state. And I think that is very unfair to the citizens of the state.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
It's nice speaking with you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure too.